as we say. Now, I'd like to address um um oh yeah, these envelopes. Now that I've done that, I want to bring in our first guest. This man is truly one of my favorite human beings on the whole planet. He's gifted beyond belief. He just released a whole album of new material. I'm gonna cut now to my chat with Mr. Dan Kincaid. Love the man. Let's do it. All right, so let's dive into it.
Sure.
And here we go. All right, everybody. I'm here with the amazing Dan Kincaid. Now, for those that know, uh, Dan and I have known each other for quite some time. For those that don't know, Dan and I have known each other for quite some time. It's been a it's been a while. We met in a dorm at Goddard College in 2001.
This is
Uh,
true. Yeah.
had all
We got
sorts of
kicked out of that dorm quickly.
We did. It was really fast how quickly they were like, "You guys are too loud. You
Yeah.
have too much fun."
Yeah. We were efficient at getting removed from that dorm.
We were really good at that. It's really one of the few ways that I think anybody could say I haven't procrastinated in my life
Yeah,
is
sure.
getting kicked out of that very first dorm at Goddard.
It's the
But
natural chemistry we had working together.
that's
We get
right.
stuff done.
That's right. And and then in the process, we kind of stumbled upon a lot of recorded South Park episodes, I think, that I had downloaded. We stumbled upon The Ladies Man,
Yes,
and
this is true.
yeah, this is nice. And then somehow we've developed like a dialect
Yeah.
that has overtaken entire groups of humans since then, even.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it really had the life of its own.
Yeah,
It
everyone just started talking like the ladies man because that skit was popular at the time with the Saturday Night Live. Yeah, that's
That's
right.
right. That's right.
Yeah,
It
that
was
is
the
true.
good old Leon Phelps. He was a
Yeah,
great man.
Leon Phelps.
Great man.
With his Courvoisier cognac,
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
which incidentally led to my dad sending me a bottle for my birthday that year. We spoke of it so much that
We spoke of it very fondly. It was a beautiful bottle.
I had
Um,
never drank it before.
I had neither. We in
Yeah,
fact hadn't even seen the movie. I think we decided kind of tepidly that we had to watch the movie, and we're very pleasantly surprised to discover like this is a pretty solid SNL film actually.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think we had all committed to the bit so hard that I think there was a general fear of like, this movie sucks though. We've
it's gonna ruin everything.
just gone forever. We just cannot do it no more.
Yeah,
And so it's really nice that the movie was a pretty good and led to more quotable lines. Like
that's
that's
right.
cool. That's
Yeah,
cool. That's
that's
not
true.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. I don't even know why we started using the voice ever at any point.
I don't either. It just kind of
Yeah,
started. I think as, you know, as people in early college find ways to bond and be weird together and be
sure.
quirky, but they don't usually spread the way that voice did, you
Yeah,
know?
it's a pleasant way for everyone to interact.
It's
You
really
know,
fun.
like once you get a group of people doing it, it sort of makes just any common mundane dialogue just more interesting in some way.
Really
Like
comfortable
just
and
saying hello, if you just like yes, hello, that
yeah,
somehow
hello.
that's
It's
more fun.
it's it's nicer. In the morning, it's really youthful. It gets you going, you know? You was real quiet about it. Like, yes, hello. You know,
Yeah, and somehow it's just got a positive, upbeat thing to it, so that
it's
works.
nice. It's real nice. And so we had, man, a year at Goddard. That last semester was probably one of the craziest things I think I've ever lived since then.
Sure.
I don't know
Yep.
that I've really been through many moments like that. We had our school implode on itself essentially. Maybe four or five different like savior figures swoop in and then for some random reason didn't pan out. Either checks
That was
bounced,
bizarre.
credit cards weren't going through. It was the weirdest thing, man.
Yeah, I mean, but that's an age-old religion story, Messianic figure comes in, credit cards don't go through.
I, and and I think it's real. I've never experienced wanting to believe somebody that I knew was a bullshitter
Yeah,
so badly.
yeah.
It's like, why are you here though? But you're just gonna write checks. I mean, I'll test it. It's worth a try.
Yeah. So what were they doing? I know they wanted our money, but that is always the case.
Yeah, so they were milking, the board was basically not upkeeping things and then claiming things were too expensive to fix, so therefore they had to shut the school down.
Sure. Yeah.
Basically, there were a lot of things along the way that they were like, we'll just not fix that this year or this year or this year. And
Uh-huh.
then, like, you know what? This thing is beyond repair. We really got to just chuck the whole school.
Yeah. Naturally.
Naturally, as you
Yeah.
do. But yeah, along the way, we wound up weaving in and out of each other's lives, I think, for the last 20 years almost now. And we've gotten to play a lot of music together. I think you're probably one of the humans I've played the most amounts of
Yeah.
music
And you
throughout.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
that's
that's where it all began, incidentally.
yeah,
So
yeah, it's
interestingly
a
enough,
nice feeling to go
we
back to.
can't tell the first story though, right? That's
No, I feel
yeah.
like all we can say about the first story is that for some magical reason, we spent 36 straight hours exchanging every single song that we ever knew how to play on acoustic,
Yeah.
being really excited about each other's abilities and talents.
Yeah.
And
And for whatever reason, we never felt like we had to sleep or whatever.
no sleep was necessary for
Yeah.
some odd, strange reason at all for a good solid
Inspiration.
36.
Yeah.
Yeah, inspiration was really moving us brightly, you know? um, but you are nowadays living in LA, right?
Yes. Yes, I am.
How's that
Right
been?
smack in the middle of Hollywood. Yeah. So.
How's that been in the last little bit?
Well, quiet. I mean,
Yeah,
the reality is the shutdown here is pretty. I don't know how it is anywhere else, but I mean, it really shut down strong. I mean, it's like I
right.
would say there's about 5 to 10% of the traffic that there was at any point before
Wow,
this, and quick.
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Yes, San Diego has been honestly, I think for the last 2 weeks, I've noticed a big wane in people's trust and belief in the shutdown. And
yeah,
so it went from feeling like 5 to 10% of foot traffic and traffic was out to
right.
nowadays, I'd say we're at like 35, 40%
Yeah, it's kicking back.
close.
Yeah, totally. I mean, well, and I think part of what happens is a lot of people don't know someone that directly has it. But
Yeah.
but the notion that it's like some sort of conspiracy to the level that things aren't really going on in hospitals at this level. I just want to say to people like, you may be right. All you got to do is walk down the street to the
I
nearest emergency
know.
room and see if there's a bunch of people.
And it's one of those, I think we're really hitting up against the difficulty of the internet making you feel so interconnected that you feel like
Right.
you can know everything at the drop of a dime.
Sure.
But at the same time, you still feeling like seeing is believing.
Yeah.
So if I live in a county that seems unaffected, feel like this is probably I don't know, is this real? And it's like, yeah, you could drive, like an hour and see how real it is.
Yeah.
You talk to, and that's something I've talked to a few different people about, is just like, I don't understand how you haven't been personally affected by like
Right.
somebody you dearly know either having it, passing away from it, or dealing with the reality of it like hands on day to day. I have
Yeah.
so many people in my life that are so wildly affected by it day in
Yeah.
and day out. But I think I've also realized that's a bit of a privilege that maybe some of us have in having a wide network of humans,
Right.
having a lot of people we know, love, and trust that do all sorts of crazy things amongst all sorts of walks of life. And so maybe there's more of an opportunity to know
I
somebody
I
who's doing
respect that. Yeah. Yeah.
it.
Well, what happened for me was like a really close, beloved friend of mine who was like maybe like I don't know 45 or so. They got it and were very open about sharing what was happening with them. And
Uh-huh.
I was like, it's horrifying in lots of ways what they were experiencing. And then to have people on the flip side being like, this is all everyone's drank the Kool-Aid. This is all BS. I'm like, so like my dear friend's lying to me or
I
like
know.
no.
Well, and that's again, we're really at an interesting crossroads in how we teach about and talk about critical thinking and understanding of like very broad complex topics
Sure.
that you know Um, you know, on the flip side of that, there is it's funny. I've created a segment for the show called Silver Linings, where I just talk about the weird silver linings that come out of
I like that.
yeah, out of this situation, and this kind of moment is one of them. And I feel like I do know a lot of creative people that, out of necessity, are now like, well, I guess my job is completely different now.
Sure.
So I got to learn how to make money this way. So like, let me figure out some new skills and like do some new shit and go this
Yeah.
avenue. And it's admirable to see, it's pretty cool to see amazing creative content being pumped out by a lot of humans I love a lot. And like
Oh yeah,
getting
totally.
on that level, getting to hear your new material, getting to hear a bunch of other people that I know putting out new material. It's been really nice and exciting.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No matter what happens, even if this were to all disappear tomorrow, I love the idea that the online concert slash medium of us, staying connected and doing art and things like that. I love the idea of that becoming a bigger thing generally. You
It's really nice, man. It's really
Yeah.
nice. And yeah, so I'm really excited to hear some of your new tunage. Why don't you tell me about the new album and the material? I know it's been a while coming.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, what I ended up doing was there was an album that I did, what, I don't know, 15 years ago, that when it finished up, I just felt like it never really quite came to be. So I worked on reworking that over years, and kind of like as I was better capable of achieving the sound, I like moved it inches forward. And so then finally actually released that, because I never actually went through with the release all those years
Yeah.
ago. And then have some new material I'm releasing, and I'm planning another whole album release in June.
Wow.
So
Nice.
yeah, so yeah, so ultimately it'll be like 25 to 30 songs all released this year, and three. I think it's gonna end up being three different albums. So yeah,
Wow.
but one
That's
of them began in 2005. It just
right.
kind of took that long to come to any sort of fruition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really interesting how that happens. I was watching a Disney Plus show about uh different visual creators on Disney projects getting to like get reacquainted with props or like set pieces they haven't seen in a while. And I
Sure.
discovered that Nightmare Before Christmas was created like in the early 80s as a concept.
Uh-huh.
And
Huh.
like model of Jack Skellington was made in like 82 or 83 or something that looks
Wow.
pretty much identical to what Jack Skellington came to look like in like the 90s.
Sure.
And an entire team of people were assembled around this thing. They made set pieces, they made concept art, they like wrote scripts out, and then it was like, nah, this is a little too dark. I don't know if there's an audience for this. And then
Sure.
nobody did anything with it for 10 years. you know and you think about something like Nightmare Before Christmas today, and it seems like one of those inevitabilities that, like, yeah, of course this thing blew up. It's like an
Right.
amazing work of art that everybody agrees is incredible, but an entire group of people at the time was like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I wonder how much like the ability to achieve the effects and the vision changed over the next 10 years.
Absolutely. And I also think, if you look at who Tim Burton was when he did that, he was like some guy writing concepts for Disney and trying to come up with ideas. And they're
Sure.
like, I don't know about this. But by the time 92 comes around, Tim Burton's like a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Edward Scissorhands is like transformed what people think of like dark movies as, and like everything is transformed by a lot of his work up until that point. So I feel like you get a little more leeway, to
And
be like,
just his ability to execute in his craft, I imagine, advanced and evolved over that time. Because that's kind of how I feel about this. In 2005 when I was doing it, I didn't know how to make it what I wanted it to be, and it kind of took until now for me to even know how to do that.
that's
So
awesome, man. That's really powerful. And do you feel like any of that was like technical stuff, or do you think it's all conceptual, detail, directional stuff that you couldn't even know how to know at the time?
definitely both. I mean, a lot of the technical stuff, and that's part of what I was referring to there. Like, I didn't know how to get sounds that I wanted to get.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to do it, and I just I couldn't do it. And a lot of times, you know, you might get lucky when you don't know how to do something. You keep doing trial and error and you nail it. But sometimes you end up somewhere that it's just like, this is in no way what
Mhm.
what I what I think is a relevant or effective version of the song. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I don't know
absolutely.
how to get it out of there. So
Right.
things can get stuck. But also, yeah, just me as an artist in creating music, like just being in a place where I'm ready to create it, you know, or I'm capable of you
Mhm.
know, not getting in the way so much that it
That's a great way to put it, not getting in the way. Yeah, because
yeah,
there's a thing there, right, that, like, is supposed to grow into its own entity and, like, be its own thing,
yeah,
and you can easily get in its growing up process when it's, like, a teenager, and then
sure.
it turns out into, like, a horrible adult, you know? I think, Tori Amos used to talk about how she looked at her songs as, like, her babies or her children, and she's like,
Yeah,
when you have kids really young, sometimes you don't know exactly how to raise them. They turn out all wild and frayed, but, like, that's who they are, you know? You
yeah.
birthed them 20 years ago, you're not gonna change them now.
Right. Well, and just that thing of it takes on a life of its own. You know,
Yep.
it really does, especially not only in like what it becomes. You know, you kind of got to let that go and let the song become what it's in the process of manifesting it outwardly. But then also takes on a life of its own as people are hearing it and what
Mhm.
they think about it, and you know, it integrates and you know, you can't control any of that. You know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you wanna play us a tune?
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out what that would be.
Moving through the desert, headed to the west, following the sun, and I am steady on this quest, out alone upon the land where the sky extends so long. Shadows stretch, they grow, and I'll walk within the song, the song. As dusk soon settles in and the color fades away, by the fireside I'll walk within where something seems to say, journey on your tired soul, with better times to come, with open hearts and open minds to find. Walk within, let it out, let yourself go free and shout out from the fire in your soul. Ride alone face, wishing on the night sky. I'm humbled by its grace as this mural moves by slowly. The legends of the